Friday, January 30th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Meteorologist Matthew East here with you. Let's begin. Look at that with a look at the Beech Mountain webcam, courtesy of resortcams.com, and everything blanketed in snow this morning there in the community of Beech Mountain. That's the area, if you're familiar with the area of Beech Mountain, kind of near that sledding hill they have for the kids during the wintertime there, and it's certainly everything covered in snow this morning. The temperature right now in Beech Mountain sitting at 24 degrees. But in general, many of us much warmer than where we were at this point yesterday. Yeah, a lot of folks along the coast 20 to 30 degrees warmer than at this juncture during the 5 o'clock hour on Thursday morning. A lot of 15 to 20 degree temperature changes there through the Piedmont, 10 degrees warmer than yesterday at this point in Boone and Asheville, so a lot more workable. And you notice all the way up and down the eastern seaboard, you have temperatures running much above where we were at this point yesterday. So here are those actual temperatures this morning. Sub-freezing in many mountain spots, but 40s in the Piedmont, even some 50s out along the coast. On the radar imagery this morning, we've seen a few showers blossom over the past couple of hours. Again, I'm cutting this video during the 5 o'clock a.m. hour. A few showers over in the eastern parts of North Carolina, but that's very quickly exiting out to sea with that cold front, high pressure building in behind it. And it's going to be a blustery day. Now let me quickly spin around the radar this morning as this activity has blossomed pretty nicely just over the past couple of hours. So I'll put 2 hours worth of radar data on, and you can see that shower activity going up over eastern parts of North Carolina. Now, snow continues in many mountain spots. You can see the fingers of snow there through the Virginias, and even though it never really shows up that great on the radar imagery there through northwestern North Carolina's mountains, there's some snow flying up there too, and a lot of snow shower activity behind this system on up through the northeastern parts of the country. But today, the big story really across the Carolinas will be the breezy conditions. Pretty good pressure gradient between that high pressure over the Midwest and low pressure near the northeast coast. And that's going to generate some pretty stiff northwesterly winds. Check out what the RPM model is indicating. 1 o'clock this afternoon, you can see those winds. These are sustained winds. A lot of Piedmont spots, 15, 20, 25 mile per hour sustained winds higher in the mountains. And we could see here in the Piedmont, the foothills, some gusts upwards of 30, 35 plus miles per hour. But then those winds very quickly relax outside of the mountains once we get into this evening. Your high temperatures today, kind of cool. Sub-freezing in Boone, 45 the high in Greensboro and Raleigh, 47 in Charlotte. And then a pretty good looking Saturday forecast, high pressure building right overhead. A lot of sun through the majority of the day, but then during the afternoon, some high clouds begin to roll in. Here's your Saturday highs. Not too bad across the region. We get on into Sunday, and that's when we see this next system approach. Now, it looks like for the majority of Sunday, just some clouds, but then very late in the day, and then certainly into Sunday night, we see rain move in. Now this is the NAM, the North American model. Well, I'll show you that in just a second. First, there's your highs on Sunday. All right, now the North American model solution here, Sunday evening at 7 o'clock. There's the idea, and then you see that rain moving in. Some snow in the mountains and up into the Virginias, but you notice most of the Carolinas staying just a chilly rain with this event, and I'll show you the detailed modeling in just a second, but there's the footprint of snow with this system on the European model. And the GFS model looking really very similar overall. All right, so this is the presentation of this system on the European model. You can see the surface low now centered on the latest run up in West Virginia. It's been a real struggle for the modeling to get a hold of where this low pressure will track. But it does look like, as we've kind of been indicating, that the chilly rain scenario for the Piedmont and the foothill zones of the Carolinas there is going to be the way to go with this. Let me show you some other modeling here. All right, here's the Canadian evolution to this, and this is as that precip first moves in Sunday evening. You see the snow line right near the North Carolina-Virginia border there in northwestern North Carolina, but then it's just a chilly rain in many spots across the region there overnight Sunday night. You can see the pretty good footprint of snow there across the Virginias, northern Virginia and much of West Virginia, but that snow line kind of stays off to our north. Now here's the 0Z run of the GFS, the representation of that. Again, there's your surface low. Finally, some pretty decent agreement there over West Virginia. And you can see the snow contours well north of North Carolina. But again, on the back side of this, there's your snow flying in the mountains. Pretty good little, maybe a decent little hit of some snow on the back side of this for the mountain zones. And here's the total rain amounts from the GFS model. Just a little bit of a minimum here through the Midlands of South Carolina up into parts of southern North Carolina. This is not going to be a heavy rain event, but enough to be a decent little rain event for many of us Sunday night into Monday morning. Now we get further out into Monday morning. This is the precipitation, 6-hour precipitation there through the morning hours and early afternoon Monday. And as the colder air behind the system rushes in, it's possible a few snowflakes could mix in across the Piedmont zones briefly Monday, but that does not look very significant. All right, then we go out to the next storm system, and the models are not in great agreement with this system. This is the 0Z run of the GFS, and you had Wednesday night another area of low pressure moving from the Florida Panhandle region to located near Wilmington Thursday morning. That brought another rain event Wednesday night into Thursday morning across the Carolinas. The Canadian model had a similar timing to this, except the low pressure track was further south and east, and so you have precip moving in Wednesday night and then continuing into Thursday early in the day, low pressure tightening up near the Outer Banks. And the Canadian model overnight did put down some snow across parts of the Carolinas with that midweek system. Outside of the mountains, most of what you see there, outside of the Virginias and the mountains, most of what you see there occurred with that midweek system. And finally, the European model is about 24 hours slower. This is Thursday evening, low pressure near Savannah. That brings in what is really a chilly rain for many of us on the European model. Now, let me show you what the difference in timing looks like here. This is the European. I'm going to show you 144 hours. So this is the European Wednesday evening. And here's the next piece of energy that drives that midweek storm system right there. So notice the location on the European model. Okay, GFS, it's much further east. This is the 0Z run of the GFS. It's over Mississippi and Alabama at the same point in time. And finally, on the Canadian model, it's a similar timing to the GFS. Now, I just grabbed this image from the latest run, the 6C run of the GFS, and everything's suppressed to the south. It's a swing and a miss with that system. So the next forecast challenge as we head into next week will be figuring out the timing of this little disturbance and when it exactly might bring some precip chances. And if the Canadian type of scenario is correct, everything lined up just right to bring a little snow. But that's going to be a threading the needle type of scenario if you're looking for that for the middle part of next week. But it is one of the many possibilities on the table. But for the time being, I'm going with the idea of some rain in the forecast in that Wednesday night into Thursday morning time period. We'll continue to evaluate. All right, that is it for today's edition of the video. Everybody have a wonderful weekend, and God bless.